the best 50th birthday present ever, and he doesn't want it.
Yeah, a heart attack. On today's show, we talk Pikes Peak, which somehow manages to carry on this year without us, and the new Corvette ZR1X, which we can agree will also carry on without us. I share where the bad RWB Porsches touched me, and Dan shares why he still won't touch a Ford Bronco Raptor, even with $10,000 on the hood. Lindsey's back from France again, this time from Le Mans, where she ate ice cream with Jim Farley, talked podcasts with Chris Harris, and watched a race. It's That Car Show. Hey, it is That Car Show. It's like 1,000 degrees in this garage in Denver, so I'm a little shiny tonight, but how are you two?
Great, how are you?
Other than being a little warm, I'm great. You just got back from Le Mans. Dan, I know you've been running around like a crazy man out in L.A.
Yeah,
so
Ryan, did you have a break-in?
Yeah.
Because, I'm sure the last time we recorded, there was a second car in your garage.
I hadn't noticed. What the hell? Yeah, so no more 88 560 SL up on the rack. If you are listening, you are in the Denver area, and you need a place to store your favorite car on your man. You know, you can't beat passive income, right? Like, that's the best kind of income.
Right.
It is.
We should all be so lucky.
Yeah.
It doesn't get in the way, right? Because it's elevated.
It's above. Yeah. So you can't be someone who wants to get your car out every day, but, you know, if you're looking to leave it for a few weeks at a time, you know, it's pretty perfect. But I do miss having the, the sights and the smells of an old Mercedes in the garage, you know.
Right.
It's got its certain something. It's, I don't know what you call it. It's probably a French word, Miss Le Mans.
Joie de vie.
Yeah, that's it. Or horsehair or whatever.
Right.
Stuffed in the seats. You know, that car sat here for 9 months, 10 months. Yes, it was on a trickle charger, but started right away. You know, barely leaked any oil. You know, barely any smoke.
That's the really
upon
impressive
startup.
part.
Right? Try that with a brand new Mercedes.
Yeah.
Those Germans, eh?
Try that with your CLA 220.
Imagine if it was British.
Yeah.
Is there a filter when someone applies to use your car's garage for storage? Like, is it British? Is it Italian?
You know,
is it German? Oh, please come and have a look.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to have a nice Carrera GT up there.
Hey, put it out into the world, right?
Yeah, and it'll happen. It'll manifest, right? But that's a little different. It's a little brighter in here, I guess.
That's true.
But yeah. It's just been crazy, and I haven't even gone anywhere. Like, I didn't go to France, but you did. Do you want to?
I went for the team. I went for all of us.
Thank you, Lindsey. That's dedication.
Hey, I am a giver, if nothing else.
It's tax deductible, which helps, right? And so, all right. So tell us, if you don't know, we obviously know this, but you just got back from Le Mans. And
I did. I just got back from the 24 hours of Le Mans in
Le
Mans, France.
You had never been before.
I had never been. This was my first time, and Tori and I went together, and my parents were there, and there was a group of Ford and Shelby enthusiasts,
nice.
And we were able to be in the Ford suite, so that was a very nice part of the experience. But we started off, we won customs in Iceland, because we flew from Seattle to Iceland and then on to Paris, and it was, it did basically an overnight flight, but it was only 6 hours, so we were a little bleary-eyed when we got there. And we were going through customs, and the agent was asking us, where are you staying in Iceland? Where are you going? And we said, no, we're going to Le Mans for the race. And he perked up and he said, you're my first people that are doing anything fun.
Oh. You gotta like the Icelandic people. They're good people.
It was so cute. And we're like, did we just win customs? I think we did.
This episode is sponsored by Iceland Tourism.
Right. Please visit. Yes.
She was also Bjork, but...
Right. Yeah, the swan dress kind of got in the way in the customs booth, but, who's counting? Let's be honest. And then, the first thing we saw in the Iceland airport was a big Stetson display. So I'm like, this feels like we made a wrong turn somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Stetson and Filson, which may sound familiar to Dan. They're based in Seattle.
Yeah.
So come get all your American outdoor and Western gear in Reykjavik.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Yeah.
You said it was hot as Hades there.
It was. The first couple
days. Not in
days.
Iceland.
No, and once we got to Paris, and we stopped quickly at the Eiffel Tower, as one does, on the way to Tours, which is where we stayed. And there was some pretty interesting car spotting on the way there. We saw a 4th-gen Camaro, American.
Really?
Didn't expect that.
Give a
983.
little bit of pride.
Yeah, we were like, yep. Subaru Forester, again, not expecting to see that in Paris, in downtown Paris. Several full-size Ram trucks, which was...
That's a weird flex if you're French.
There was a lot. Yeah, we were like, there's a lot that we were not expecting. One of them we saw when we were leaving on Sunday, and it was towing a Porsche Motorsport trailer with a GTS inside.
Well, at least they're towing with it.
Right.
Let's think about it, right? The French farmers love to protest. And is there anything better than parking a Ram as you protest?
Yeah,
So,
true.
Did you drive to Le Mans, Lindsay, from Paris?
We did.
Okay, that's a pilgrimage in its own right?
It is. I mean, it really made it part of the adventure, and it let us stop in Paris proper and like see the Eiffel Tower quickly and all of that. Because obviously, if you take the train, like that's a set route. You're not exiting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool because we got to see more of the countryside, and then we had more flexibility, like on the race days as far as staying, because the group we were with did have a shuttle. Because Tours is about an hour from Le Mans, but yeah, it just let us kind of design our own trip, which was nice. So
I was going to wear my Le Mans t-shirt a few years ago. When I was a younger man, my mother-in-law got me a Le Mans t-shirt. She went to France and got me the shirt, and I put it on, and I realized it looked like a French sausage in the thing. So that didn't happen, but I tried. The thought was there. But that's as close as I've ever gotten. Dan, you've been, it sounds like?
Yeah, I want to say 2009, so a long time ago. But it used to be like 70,000 Brits used to go every year. I don't know if this is still the same number, but it was a pilgrimage for sure.
Yeah,
there were a lot of British people there. When we went on Saturday, the guy that parked next to us actually had like a G50 911 Targa that was gorgeous. He's had it about 20 years. And he's a restaurateur from Royal Tunbridge Wells, actually, Dan. We started talking to him. British guy. He had driven over that morning, driven through the Channel.
Yeah.
And he said it was amazing. And his car was gorgeous. It had this amazing plaid interior, plaid inserts, handmade shift knob. He wasn't sure what color it was. It was kind of like a deep ice blue metallic. It was just in amazing shape. But he's had it for 20 years. But, yeah, a lot of British people. So on Friday afternoon, it used to be like the driver's parade through the town of Le Mans. And so if you're at the track, they have like a local metro kind of tram. So we took that from the track into the town, and they've got the town all strung with, banners, and it's like a very big party atmosphere. They had a band and all kinds of, booths and Aperol spritz and beer gardens and all that stuff. And it looked, if you've seen Ford versus Ferrari, they did a really good job of recreating the town with like the little pennant banners over the walkway. And it was like, we felt like we were walking through the movie several times. And like the scene where Ken Miles wakes up and walks through, there's the drunk guy outside his hotel, and he says, well, I'm just going to go walk the track. Like when he comes out of the hotel, I think this is the town he's supposed to be. It's the town of Le Mans. And it was very authentic. But yeah, we ended up going to see the parade. I think it's now called the Driver's Party, because it was a little, I'm really glad we did it. It was a little anticlimactic from what I understand. I think it may have been more driver-centric when you were there, Dan. But we ended up meeting a French police officer who had studied in San Diego, so that was very funny, and then made friends with some Danish people that were standing right with us who lived in the town where I grew up in Orange County in California. So you just never know who you're going to meet.
Well, you met a few other folks too, right? I think you met one Chris Harris while you were there, who I'm hoping has that car show sticker on the back of his phone now. But you tell me.
We were in the Ford hospitality suite, and I looked over and I went, "Oh my God, that's Chris Harris!" And he was eating with Jim Farley, and so then Jim had to go do something, and Chris was there with someone else, and then he was by himself, and I was like, I'm just going to introduce myself and tell him I love the podcast.
Nice.
And so I went up and introduced myself, and at first he was a little wary, and then I said, I really love your show. I have a podcast also, and we talk about your show all the time.
You got it in.
I did. Wow. And his face totally changed, and he was like, what? And he said, well, thank you so much for listening. And I said, yeah, we love the format and how you moderate it. And he was like, oh, that's really great. Thank you so much. So
in a weird way,
I was not expecting, because he drove in the Mustang Challenge.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because Ford flew all of the Mustang Challenge, or they flew 40 of the Mustang Challenge cars to France to do 2 races before the 24-hour race started. And so he drove one of them with Sir Chris Hoy, and then Jim Farley was also driving in the race. And we have a family friend, Steve Vida, that we met at Laguna Seca when I was there for the Land Rover event in May. And he was pitted right next to my dad in the paddock. So then he and his wife were there, so we got to see them. So yeah, that was really fun. And we got to go into the Mustang Challenge paddock where they had all the cars.
Nice.
We went in after the race, which was really interesting. And my family's been watching that series. So it was wild because I kept going, okay, I remember this car from the TV, and I remember seeing this car on TV, because the liveries are so distinctive.
Yeah.
They had one that was racing in the States that was fully chromed. I didn't see that one there. But yeah, Jib drove in that. Chris Harris was there. And there's a gal who's an F1 expert and commentator, Tony Cowan Brown. She was there, and I've followed her on Instagram, but it was fun to meet her in person.
Nice.
And then some of our listeners may know Pinstripe Chris. He's an artist based in Orange County, and he knows Paul Kramer from Auto Kennel very well. And he was actually in the suite doing a piece of the Mustang GTD, like over the course of the weekend, like painting it.
Wow.
So he and his wife Katie were there, so it was great to see him. We were like, we didn't leave Costa Mesa. What's going on? And then Ed Lowe from Motor Trend was there.
Cool.
And actually, right when we got into Paris, we ran into Emmy Hall, who's a freelancer, and she's done the Rebelle Rally, and she's just kind of a badass all-around automotive media gal. And ran into her right away. She was there with Genesis. So yeah, there were all kinds of people.
Yeah, yeah, and you, right?
And me, and I was there. Yes, I was there. Yeah.
They're back on their podcasts right now talking about how they ran into Lindsey Jesh, So
That's exactly
the $1 million question, did you stay up for the 24 hours?
Almost.
Yeah?
Yes. So it was a very quick trip, just the way it worked out with my schedule. So because we realized we probably weren't going to be able to get back from tours to Le Mans and then also leave on Sunday. So we ended up staying up till probably about 4 on Saturday. Well, Sunday morning.
Impressive.
Yeah, this old gal. I was like, it was a lot of coffee that day.
It's just the youngest one on the show.
Right. Mama's old bones. But yeah. And it's, there was so much energy, and it really was... Like, I didn't expect it to be as weighty as it was.
Yeah.
But being there, and I mean, I've said this before, like Ford versus Ferrari is one of my favorite movies for a lot of different reasons, but I've really connected with it. And that was a lot of like the stories that I heard in my childhood. And obviously Le Mans is a huge part, if not the storyline in that movie.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit me when we got there, like we're in the spot, like we're standing in all the places where all of those events happened.
Yeah.
Those were real events. And you could sort of feel like the weight and the significance of it. And it was, it was very momentous and meaningful, and just sort of like, you could definitely hear like the whispers of the past and feel all the layers and everything that's happened there.
Yeah.
And, Friday night, the race obviously starts Saturday afternoon. Friday night, we had the grandstands completely to ourselves. Like Tori and I were just walking around, and he realized we could just walk into the grandstands. They were open. And we did, and we were the only ones there, and it was just like, it was a really nice moment to take it all in and just sort of...
A hell of a picture.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right?
He's got a good eye, because all of a sudden he was like, wait a minute, I think we could do this, and there's nobody in the stands on either side. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was very cool. Shout out to our friend Maurice at Horsepower Heritage, who just put out a great, I think it was an encore episode, but... about the most tragic day at Le Mans and all that. And this all happened where there's that's gotta like kind of hang heavy in the air, right?
Well, that was the thing. And especially when we were in the stands, we were standing there and we realized like we could just look, to our left. We were opposite the garages, but we could look and we're like, that's exactly where the 1955 disaster happened. And all those people lost their lives. And so
55?
1955.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was, between 80 and 90 people were injured or killed.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And Mercedes pulled out, and they didn't do the race for a long, long, long time after that because they felt so awful. And it was an interesting combination of, sort of the magic of the event and just the wonder of getting to be there, period. But then also like all all of the history there. And, you know, a lot of my upbringing was focused on around like the stories of the 60s and Carroll Shelby and everything he contributed, and just, you know, Ken Miles and everything he contributed and all of that.
Yeah.
And then we didn't realize until we were there, we were looking something else up. I hadn't put it together that Ken passed away 2 months after Le Mans. So that was kind of hanging heavy too. I mean, I didn't realize it was so close. But something that was interesting because, you know, I think a lot of people know, but some people may not. One of the issues with the year that Ken raced and with Ford making him slow down so that they could finish all together, and then the win was taken away from him because the monitoring committee ruled that Bruce McLaren had started behind him, so he'd actually driven farther, so he'd actually won, even though Ken was several laps up. And there are some sources that say Ken was still a lap up when they finished, so there should have been no question, even though they drove physically together.
Well,
but
this is why I like computers and computer timing. It's just,
well, and so
it seems wild.
If Ken had been allowed to keep the win, he would have won Daytona, Sebring, and Le Mans in the same year. So we were looking it up when we were there. Other people have won all three, but nobody has done it in the same year. So he still would be the only person to win it in the same year. But what we realized when we were there, there's a driver who had won Sebring and Daytona, and he was driving this year. And for a while, his car was second. So we thought, is there a chance somebody's going to achieve it for the first time and we're here?
Yeah, wow.
And they didn't end up. But there was a lot of like current and past tie-in, which made it really interesting.
Yeah.
You know, like made it much more layered than I was expecting.
Yeah. Dan, where were we? I guess it was Car Week last year. We walked into a very special private collection, and the collection mechanic comes out, and wasn't it like Ken Miles's son or something?
Was it Peter Miles?
Yeah.
Yes. Where was that?
Well, it was in Carmel.
Yeah. I don't want to say the name, but yeah. And it was surreal because
you're like, wait a minute, we know. Yeah, I mean, he was out at Willow for the Shelby celebration in February, so I got to talk to him a little bit, and he's the nicest man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah. That was a surreal capper to a surreal day of a surreal week, but
yeah, because you kind of go like, well, that can't be the same Peter Miles,
right? And I don't know enough like you to like talk myself out of So it sounds epic. Would you have done anything differently? Did you miss anything you really wanted to do or see? Do you want to go back, or is this like a once a decade thing, or what?
Do they still have the Ferris wheel?
They do.
Did you go on it?
I did. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Thanks to my fiance's encouraging.
Yeah.
Heights are not my first choice, but I will say if heights bother you, I think you'd be fine on this. And it was an amazing way to see a really good chunk of the track.
Yeah.
And we went late at night, so you could see the headlights. And I think that actually helped as far as, I think it helped because I think during the day, it made them easier to see.
Yeah.
And so I think you could see farther maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's like you can't go to Le Mans and not go on the Ferris wheel.
Right.
Did you do that, Dan? Yeah.
We were going to sort of chuck you off the call if you'd have said no.
Right. You're like, and you're out.
Yeah. No, of course. Is it still the same place? Is it like the final chicane before the straight?
There's two, and we went on the bigger one.
Okay. When I was there, it was right by the final chicane before the start-finish straight. And I didn't do it at the right time, but the perfect time to do it is sunset or sunrise.
Yeah.
Because you've got everything going on at that point.
And I could see, I mean, it'd be pretty cool if you could time it to be when the race finishes too.
Yeah, right. It's like, no, keep after you.
Yeah, you're like, no, by all means. No, please go. Yeah. It was like a moment out of a movie because you're like, I'm on the Ferris wheel at Le Mans. Like, come on, whose life is this?
Yeah.
Drinking champagne?
I was going to say, that helps too, right? To get
not
past
not as much. That was much more moderated because I knew it was going to be a really long night. So there was a lot more coffee than champagne. Not to say we didn't toast to be for sure.
I'm guessing you didn't sleep in a Chevy Equinox at any point during the journey.
So you said, what would I do differently? Next time I would be sure that we get an Equinox that we could go sleep in. Yeah. No, I think there were... one thing that we did that was a must do and I don't know how you would get access to it because it was part of the group that we were with, but we had the chance to go watch the race from 3 different corners: Indianapolis, Gulf, and the first chicane on the Mulsanne Straight. And that was unreal, and like, so getting to watch from the suite where we could see part of the straight and then some of the curves right after that. So you could really see the cars in action. I mean, you could see like the driver skill and the power. You could see the downforce. You could see the way the cars were behaving. At one point, like one of the prototype cars kind of went like that. And it was like, you could see the wind pushing down and like, that was very intense. And then when we were at Indianapolis, they were under a full course yellow. So everybody had to slow way down. So it wasn't as exciting, but we also got to get a much better look at the cars themselves. So that was really cool. Yeah, I mean, and getting to see Golf Corner, which is like a hard 90-degree right turn. So you see the cars come screaming up. And we went at night. So
yes.
You see the rotors glowing.
Yeah. Okay. That was my next question.
Like,
yeah. That's
unreal.
Yeah.
And you could really see, some of them shoot
so
planes
cool.
out of the exhaust.
Right.
See that, like, it made it much more visible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and just to hear them coming up, and it's in, there are a lot of trees. Like, I don't know if it qualifies as a forest, but there's a lot of trees. And so you'd hear them much sooner than you'd see them. And they come screaming out of the trees. And then they have to slam on the brakes, go right. And so you'd see the fire, you could see the rotors, and then just to hear them accelerate. And, that was the corner, I think, that Dan Gurney invented the chicken shit braking because they were trying to figure out how to not overheat the rotors. And so he's
Tell us about that. I don't know what that is.
So he would lift like 300 yards before he would have started braking.
Okay.
And he would let the engine slow the car down. Then he would brake.
I see.
And then he'd accelerate out of the corner. But it let him, kept the rotors cooler, and it let him, I think, get on the gas sooner. And so it gave them a competitive edge.
Take some guts.
Yeah. I've seen interviews where he spoke about it, and he's like, definitely not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And they had, Aston Martin had a display. They had a Valkyrie there.
Nice.
And then Casa de Ferrari, was always lovely. They had a really visually impactful display that included a 499P, an F80, and a 296 Speciale. And it was really beautiful. And then we got to see the 963 up close.
Nice.
And the Count Rossi 917.
Oh, yeah.
Which was that is a thing to behold.
Yeah.
Just wild. It's the only road legal 917 ever made, and it was there.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
what I didn't realize until we got there is there's a Porsche Experience Center at Le Mans.
Oh, there is. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, so they weren't doing the.
Well, forget Pekla. Forget.
Right? I know.
We're headed there.
Yeah, it definitely. It's like if you can't go to the one at Le Mans, forget it. Yeah.
Sounds like a hell of a trip. Sounds like an amazing trip.
It was amazing.
You had a good travel buddy with you.
I did.
So
yeah, we travel
to
incredibly well together, which is very nice. Makes a big difference.
All right. Well, this is how you know this thing's forever because you just drove a GT4 with buckets from Kansas City to Seattle, and then turned around and went to Le Mans. And all that, and still have a smile on your face.
And no fights. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to sleep in a Chevy Equinox, but that wasn't even a Chevy Equinox.
I did sleep in the carbon buckets.
Oh, that's
Are
also.
you talking about my sleeping escapade?
Yeah. Pikes Peak. What was that? It was Ford Edge.
Yeah. So this weekend is the anniversary. It's the 1-year anniversary of me sleeping in a Ford Edge at the top of a mountain.
That's what it was.
I did wonder where you were going with the Equinox.
Well, I was going to segue because that race is this weekend. So when you hear this, it'll be, I think, the next day. And this is the first time in a couple 3 years that I haven't been going. I didn't go to Porsche Colorado Springs' drivers meet and greet, and I have a little confession. It's because I had 30 bags of mulch delivered to my house. And I threw out not only my back, but my knee, and I just wasn't.
And your dignity.
No. And your enthusiasm for getting in the car and driving hours an hour.
Yeah. I just I was a broken man by bag 30. So
that's fair.
Not going to the race this year either. I think it's going to be wonderful. I think the weather's going to be good. There's some cool cars, great drivers. I felt a little bad. It was kind of like, broke tradition, but, lots of friends there sending pictures and stuff. You got to take a break, right? Like it's a lot to dance. But that's all. The older I get, the tougher it is to get up early for that kind of stuff. Like 24 hours Le Mans, that might be tough.
And we did a lot more of the 24 hours than I was anticipating.
But
I think
there
is an element of like, once you're there, it kind of hits you and you go like, you have to just like take full advantage of as much of it as you can.
Yeah. There's that too. And that's, I guess, why I always felt a little guilty about. We would meet these people here, in Colorado who had traveled, from all across the globe to be here.
Right.
And I think I maybe was starting to take it for granted a little bit. So now I'll build up, my sort of envy of not being there. And next year I'll be rearing to go, and I'll plan my mulch spreading way far in advance.
Well in advance of Pikes Peak.
Maybe they need that on the track or next to the track. You can get a job there.
Yeah, that's right.
You can join the ground.
The Zorbent or whatever on the and of course without Dan here, it's not quite the same.
I know
either.
No snoring.
Who's going to sleep in the boot of your Edge? Come on.
Yeah. Who's going to wake me up at 1 a.m. when we don't have to wake up until 3:30 a.m. and make it up at the same time? But no, I'm kidding.
That's not my fault.
Sounds like someone still owes someone a beer, and it's nobody on this call.
It was a great time, and it's a great event. But maybe next year we can all do it or something, and
yes.
It'll be a little easier on the pocketbook right then.
I'm excited to see how Romain Dumas does this year, because he's gone. Like every year, is it a super something? The Ford call it?
Yeah.
This year he's doing the Super Mustang Mach-E, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe they were going to put him in the Ford Raptor now that it's $10,000 off, but that's
it's not super enough.
That's not going to push you over the edge, Dan?
I think Ford have been listening to the podcast and reduced their prices accordingly.
Well, God, they're giving away everything, right? Like, we have this Polestar and we're happy with it, but I get this email today from Polestar saying, oh, now we can get the Polestar 3 for the same price. Why? Just bring it in, and just upgrade,
Just straight across. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Matt Fair on the Smoking Tire was talking about one of his buddies picked up the new Acura, is it the ZDX? Same thing. It's like $2,500 down and $250 a month, and you're in the $75,000 car. Like I'm still struggling to figure out how this all computes, but it's.
Well, it's kind of like wasn't it the Fiat 500 you could get for free?
For free. I mean, they're getting to the point where they're going to pay you to take one, and lots of folks in Denver, and it's it just deals like that don't exist, but
I know. Well, okay, speaking of Ford, there was one moment I have to share from that I remembered.
In the Ford's hospitality suite? Or
in the suite,
okay.
Drinking champagne?
No.
Ford champagne? Yeah.
No Ford champagne. No, there was Ford ice cream, though.
Oh.
So at one point, after the race started, we were lucky to get seats along the railing upstairs. And like Tori and I were sitting there, and my parents were there, and we looked over, and Jim Farley's right next to Tori. Just eating his ice cream.
Oh, right. I love it.
We were just chatting with him.
I love it.
And later we were like, it was reminiscent of the moment in Ford versus Ferrari when Henry Ford is upstairs. Henry Ford II is upstairs in the suite, and he calls down to the garages for an update.
Yeah.
Jim's just hanging out. He's like, just want to check out the race.
I love that.
Finished his ice cream, gave us a flavor recommendation, and then he's like, all right, have a great time, guys.
Yeah. Was that before or after you said, hey, Jim, we've got a podcast?
That's right.
Speaking of, talking about Ford branded alcoholic beverages, about Fordlandia, right? Where they built these company towns, Henry Ford. I think there was one in Michigan and there was one in Brazil where they basically built these company towns to clear cut the forests.
Oh my gosh.
Their materials or whatever. But if Ford ever decides to make a vodka, I think Fordlandia would be what they would have to.
There you go.
It, right?
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't figure out why that sounded
Fordlandia.
Familiar, and I realized I was thinking of Portlandia that Fred Armisen did a few years ago. I'm like, why have I heard that before?
My Fred Armisen story, right?
I don't.
When I was in middle school, I went to see a local punk rock show at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Indiana, and he was in a band called Trenchmouth that played. And so I have his like demo tape from like 1991 or something.
Get out.
At least I think it was him.
Do you have the technology to play said tape?
I think they're still around.
Now that I say that, I think I actually have a car that will play a cassette tape. So should we need to some sort of experiment.
Dig that out.
We can connect the tape with the car and hear some vintage Fred Armisen.
Yeah, you're hanging out with, Chris Harris and
I know.
and I'm reminiscing about Fred Armisen
No, I
when
love
I was
it.
14. But all right, guys, I got to go on a little bit of a tear here. Something
Let's hear
happened
it.
this week where my algorithm started sending me a lot of reels on Instagram about RWB, and these are these Porsches. Do we know about these?
Yeah,
You don't have any friends at RWB either of you, do you?
I don't.
Well, we know an owner of one, don't we?
Okay, all right.
that's right.
Shout out. So let's get the unfiltered. Don't hold back, Ryan, and then we'll just share this directly with our good friend who's got the RWB.
Then we'll talk about who we've befriended deeply.
So these have been on my radar for a long, right? We've known about these. This is not a new thing, right?
Right.
And I know, any publicity is good publicity and all that. But I finally saw, I think it was a local guy, Matthew, Scandamaniac on Instagram, who sent me the one that pushed me over the edge. And then, of course, I saw more and more of these things. But this was RWB Porsches, if you don't know, it's this Japanese guy who basically travels the world, and for X number of dollars, word on the street, it's about $24,000 to $40,000, will come and take your, I think it's a 930, 964, 997, or does he do 996? I don't know. It's like 4 different models. That would make sense if he does 996s. And he basically
there's a Targa 996 Targa in Seattle. This isn't our friend's car.
Okay.
But he did a 996 at the museum, I think, the Tacoma Museum.
Well, that's
But
kind
Oh,
of
LeMay.
kind of a shtick, right? Like you have a car, you fly him in, and it's like him and his Sawzall, and he just goes to work on your car. And as far as I know, he doesn't.
Kind of like performance art almost.
That's the thing, right? So you know a car if you see it because it's so RWB stands for they call it in German Rauwelt, which means rough world, which I think is a good name. But this guy's a character, right? Like he's disheveled, he's got like hair that comes out to here, he wears pajamas, he always has like a Marlboro between his lips, and he basically sits on the floor and just goes to town with this saw. And the video that pushed me over the edge was one where he has these like trademark fender flares, right? These extensions, right? And he just had like some like Home Depot like glue in a tube that he's just haphazardly like splattering on this thing to and it kind of pissed me off because we've already got everyone else tearing up these cars, right? And I guess I'm a bit of a Porsche purist, but what I don't understand is like you can get a Singer, you can get a Gunther Works, you can get these cars, but the craft is there, right? They're obviously
done well. Yeah,
they're
it's high
done
quality.
really, really well, and it's not just cosmetics, right? Like it's there are obviously performance enhancements, and and as far as I know, these cars, unless I think the owners enhance the performance in any way, these are just cosmetic exercises. They're art projects, right?
Yeah.
And I really hated how they looked for a long, long time. I'm starting to sort of come around on them, I think because I've seen a few of them now. So you'll know when you see one, and there are a lot of copies too, but they have these big sort of fiberglass, I think, or molded plastic fenders. They've got the RWB or the rough world in German, whatever it is on the window. And
Well, they have I think one of their distinctive characteristics is a lot of visible rivets.
A lot of visible rivets. That's kind of a love it or hate it thing, right? But I saw this video of him sort of doing this thing, and it just sort of pushed me over the edge. And so I decided to dig a little deeper, and I think that's sort of the conclusion I've come to as well. Lindsey, you mentioned performance art, and I think that's kind of what's going on, right? If you've got some money, you've got an extra $24,000 to $40,000 lying around, you invite this guy from Japan and all your friends, and whatever, you watch him work, right? And
you have a very unique experience.
That's what it is. But do you want to drive these things? Because these things are not going to last, right? They're literally glued together. You're adding weight, right? You're not adding any performance. I feel like there's, and then I thought, well, maybe this is sort of the antidote to the Porsche perfectionism, right? Maybe that's what appeals, right? It's
removing the preciousness and just like, hey, just have fun with it and get out and enjoy it. But yeah, to your point, I've never heard how they drive. And
that's like the one thing no one talks about.
Yeah. And I think that's where it veers more, like that's why it's much more, or it's as much performance art as it is like a retrofitting or a Like, 'cause
Yeah.
it's not, I wouldn't consider it a resto mod because it's so surface, I guess, so cosmetic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, how much resto modding can you do in 2 days? But
Right.
you know, and
Well, wasn't there a video, was it last year, where they showed them and they were like gluing the tow hook on and everybody was all
but that kind of sums it up, right? Like,
well, and there was something later where they're like, obviously we don't normally do this, like something happened, but of course it created a lot of discussion, you know, like among the car world of
Yeah.
like, clearly you can't do that.
speaking of tow hooks, I think it was your Tory, Lindsey, who posted, was it Manti Racing wanted, is it $450 for a nylon tow?
I believe it was 800.
$800.
Or there was one that was found that was 800 and we both choked and
Yeah.
obviously not.
So maybe if you sort of come full circle with this, like where else can you get this kind of visual impact, if you want to call it that, for, you know,
Right. Yeah. If you
mid
if
five
you
figures,
sorta-
right on top of
right.
the price of the car. But do we? I mean, like I really have a real sort of like I don't know, base reaction to these things. Like I just, they bother me, and I guess you can do whatever you want, right? But Dan, you're
As long
being
as
suspiciously
Ryan approves of
quiet.
it.
Well, I'm just wondering if we cancel, because Lindsay and I, for your birthday, we're going to bring him in for the GT4.
I know.
Fortunately, that is not on his list.
Do we? I think we're still within the cancellation
Yes,
period. We
it
can
was
get
like
the
it.
deposit
Yeah,
back.
I think we're good. But it's the best 50th birthday present ever, and he doesn't want
I
it.
know.
Yeah, a heart
We
attack.
spent so much. And we're just You have
Yeah.
to go out in the best way possible. You're in the garage.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just thinking when you were telling the story about the Ferris wheel at Le Mans, like, you know, if you were gonna, you know, fall from a great height, you know, that's
Right.
that's the place
Like,
to.
hey, if this is how it
do it.
ends, if it's the Ferris wheel at Le Mans, you could do a lot worse.
I mean, I'm trying to think. There's really, he's got no competitors, right? Because, but this is like, I don't know. You ever seen like a limo conversion, like back in the days when they would, limos aren't really, those cars don't exist to convert really anymore so much, but when they used to convert like a town car or a Cadillac, and they basically would cut the thing in half and then just weld some, like, you know, 3 feet more frame or whatever, and then just slop together. And it's just, I think those were built with much more care and precision than these things. And I want to know, so I know we have a friend of the show who's got one, like, what's this thing 3 years later like? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question.
Are the
Well, and
pieces-
do we think? I mean, because again, I kind of go back to, I think it's people that have pretty extensive collections.
Yeah.
Is my sense,
Yeah.
because it is. I think part of having it is the experience of having him come and do his thing in front of you and getting to
Yeah.
have like sort of the comprehensive experience.
yeah.
But I don't think our friend actually, I think he bought it once it'd been done.
Ooh.
The reason he's got one of the reasons is that he does a lot of work for charity and ill kids, sick
Yeah.
kids,
Right.
and they love the visuals of that car.
There you go. There
They
you go.
absolutely love it. So,
Yeah.
but he's also got a singer, right? So,
Right.
I think we need to ask Eric to come on the show.
Yeah.
talk about
I
it.
think he'd be fun anyway to have on. But I do have to wonder, like, what's the resale on those? Because if you're starting with a car that's, say, a $50,000 or $60,000, you know, 964 or 993 or not, it wouldn't be a 993, but like a 996 or something, right? I mean,
Yeah.
assume you're starting with a car that isn't perfect, right? You're probably starting with a car that you're a little more okay with cutting into with the Sawzall, right? Like, if the car is a $50,000 car and he's $30,000 to fly here from Japan, and you know,
Yeah.
is that an $80,000 car at the end? Is it a $180,000 car, or is it a $30,000 car? Like, how does that translate? And
I think you're going to have another heart attack, Ryan, because these cars go up significantly in value.
Yeah.
Like
One,
to like
two.
$100,000-$200,000 more.
really,
So
they're greater than the sum of their parts, huh?
Yeah. Well, because I
guess
think
they are.
it's so polarizing. Like
Yeah.
we've demonstrated, like, love them or hate them, people have strong opinions, and the people that like them really like them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's booked out for at least a year, so you won't be able to hire him in time for my 50th.
Well, he's going to have an opening at your birthday 'cause we're
There
going
we
to
go.
cancel, apparently.
Suddenly there's a window.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you do you have it in you to sit down with a torch or a saw and like cut into something like that? Just like, because he doesn't he doesn't draw anything out. He just sits
No,
down and
it's
starts
freehand.
cutting. So like
Right.
sometimes they're asymmetrical. It's like,
Well,
I don't
it's
think
part of-
physically
yeah.
my arm could lift that to the sheet metal, and I don't know.
I feel like it's the same idea of like some people buy plates just to break them. I think there was something like, I feel like it's the
Who are these
same-
people?
The Greeks.
Geniuses, really. Let's be honest.
Opa, yeah.
They're like rules schmools. I'm gonna throw a spoon in there.
Yeah.
I think there could be something freeing about it because you're taking
Okay.
out the preciousness.
Yes.
And you're going, I'm gonna do what I want and make this piece of art, basically.
Yeah.
That I can get in and drive if I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like he's given himself permission to do what he likes, and it's resonated with more people than just him. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's something cool about that. Just going like, hey, this is what I feel moved to do, and I'm not going to go like, well, I can't. This is too important. Like,
more fun than banana duct tape to a canvas, right?
Exactly.
And I would argue that he's been influential, right? That he's,
Right.
That other people are sort of aping his style, and I just maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I want to be that cool. Maybe I want to wear my pajamas and fly the world with a cigarette in my mouth.
This is just you questioning
Money
all your
thrown at
life
me.
choices, and you're like, had I known that being flown around the world in my PJs was an option, I would have made some different choices.
Sign Ryan up.
Yeah.
I
Well, but I
think
think
his cars.
No, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, I think his cars actually appear in some video games.
Oh, really?
So that's
Okay.
another element of
With the resonating with the
authenticity
kids.
and everything. Yeah.
I mean, and big kids who still play video games too, obviously. Yeah,
Well,
but
I went to art school. I think I'm the only one
Yeah.
on this show that went to art school, and that was always the question: like, how do you make it big in art? Right? You gotta have to have that shock value. You have to do something that no one else has done, right? And it's worth what people will pay for it, right? Your artwork, and so I maybe that's the way to look at it. That he's a performance artist. That this is art. That it's I'm looking at it through the wrong lens. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't, but of course I'm bothered by these people that cut a car in half and put it on the wall too. Like there's something I assign way too much humanity to these things.
Now, okay, so let me offer a counterpoint to your perspective on that being done. So one of the cars that I learned to drive in was an 85 Bronco, as I have never mentioned before on the show. And when that car started to have consistent problems to the point that really my dad was the only one that could drive it, we all sat around and none of us wanted to let the car go because that had been the bulk of mine and my siblings' childhood. The family road trips were in that car. We had all learned to drive in that car. It was my grandfather's car before we had it. So much history. And we were looking at it, and my parents have a blank, the back of the garage wall in the backyard. And we went, what if we cut the car off behind the front seat? I know. And mounted it to the wall and put a barbecue where the engine goes.
Wow.
That's very SoCal of you.
Up until that point, I was going to say it's like the old Labrador that you make a decision on whether to put it down or not. But you don't stuff it and put it on the wall, do you?
Right.
Some people do.
But you know what's hilarious? So and the car ended up being donated in 2005. So it's been 20 years at this point. And my dad still says we should have done it.
But now everyone wants them, and they're paying up, for these things.
I know.
Did you ever
We could have had our own Bronco barbecue.
Did you ever have the show Wonder Years in the UK, Dan?
Yes, with Fred Savage.
Yes, and there was this. It's been years since I've seen this thing, but there was this wonderful episode where the whole family, they have a station wagon that they've all grown up in.
Oh yeah.
After 20 years, it's a Sunday. The whole family gets together, washes it, they cleans it. They take it to the car dealership, and the car dealership wants to give them pennies on the dollar of what they think it's worth, and they end up keeping it.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of whatever wrapped up in these inanimate objects, and it's I guess some of us are easier or have an easier time of making that separation than others.
No, they definitely, certain ones sort of worm their way into our hearts.
They do.
Of the family. And but it's interesting, Dan, that you said part of the reason that our friend of the show has an RWB is because it resonates with kids, because my only real experience with RWB was when my daughter and my dad and I got to go up and tour the part of the Galpin collection that's at Gas a couple years ago. And they have a nice shop, and you can get basically souvenirs and gas merch and that kind of stuff. And I told my daughter she could pick something, and she chose an RC car that was a purple RWB Porsche.
Wow.
And So it, again, resonated with her. There's something about it that definitely resonates with kids, which is interesting.
And our friend of the show, if, you're willing to let us drive it, maybe that's what we need to.
There's a magazine article in that, isn't there, Ryan?
Yeah, I think there is. And you know what? And just to pile on, then we can move on. I guess it really depends more heavily than it usually would on the donor car, right? If you start out with something, start with a 930 turbo, it's going to be a more exciting car rate maybe than something else. But speaking,
can I give a shout out?
Please.
I wanted to give a shout out to Ryan Car Media on Instagram.
Yeah, hey, Ryan.
Because he gave us some really nice feedback, and he basically said he loves listening to the show, and I had to check he was talking about our show, and he was. So Ryan, thank you, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. He does a great. I don't know what you want to call it, like a newsletter about cars, and post it to Instagram, and where he focuses on a singular model. And I've had a couple discussions with him offline about just cool cars and stuff. So I don't know. Do you know where Ryan is?
He last time we chatted, he'd been to Europe, so I don't know where he's. I can't remember where he's based, but I know he's been to Europe. Can we play "Let's Wind Up Jorge" for the next 5 minutes?
So I think I know what you're going to get at here, Dan.
What could you possibly be working up to?
Our friend Jorge Aquino of Tormenting Tarmac sent us a text and basically said, guys, if you talk about the new Corvette this week, I want in. I've got an opinion.
This, of course, is the ZR1X.
ZR1X, which is a tribute to the father of the Corvette, which is Zora. So this is an all-wheel drive monster. It does 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds, and I'm kind of thinking, what's the point, to be quite frank? Because they've already got the ZR1, which is super quick, and and all the rest. So obviously this is now all-wheel drive, which means it's even more stable on the roads and stuff. But it's like, does the world need another quick Corvette?
Or does it need an all-wheel drive one? That feels very
It's got one already. So the what's the name of the model? There's an electric hybrid.
The E-Ray.
The E-Ray, thank you. So that is all-wheel drive already, but a pure ICE all-wheel drive is the new one.
Huh.
Well, I love that they're coming in so many flavors, right? Because, I mean, even the standard Stingray is a very quick car, right, out of the box, right? The Z06, right? There's the ZR1. You've got the E-Ray. Now you've got the ZR1X. I think it would have to be all-wheel drive with 1,250 horsepower. And Dan sent me over a couple notes, and I thought it says 1,250 horsepower and sub 2 seconds, 0 to 60. And I thought the next line was, why isn't it faster? But you say, you posit the question, why isn't it at Pikes Peak?
Yeah.
Because that would, I think, do quite well.
Perfect Pikes Peak car. I'm not sure if it's the perfect car for cars and coffee on a Sunday.
Right, that is the ultimate Pikes Peak car.
What do these things cost?
They haven't announced it yet, have they?
Okay.
But I think the ZR1 is like 145.
Which is crazy. This is supercar performance.
Or hypercar.
Right? Yeah, or hypercar. Right? Well, that's what this new one will be, a hypercar, performance car.
So maybe we need to invite Jorge onto the show so he can show us the light, tell us why it's a cool car and why we should care about it.
I think the problem with it was 117 degrees in Phoenix today. I think it's going to his head.
Wow.
I mean, you can't argue with the specs. Come on, I mean, and
assumingly the price when it comes out.
Oh my God! Yeah. I mean, you can't get a Porsche, with that kind of horsepower at any price. This is a GM. This is a Chevy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I got nothing.
Who is it for, though?
It's a good question.
Track people, I guess. It's got to be a track car, hasn't it?
But what track?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's so powerful. Like, there's a lot of tracks that it would overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably would be too noisy for as well.
Yeah.
Well, we should be celebrating this. I mean, this is, again,
more
golden age. Would be what?
I said, should we, though?
I just hope they fall into the right hands.
Jorge, we need your help here.
We need you to be our Sherpa through this.
I mean, he's welcome to make his case. I make no promises that I will change my mind. My skepticism.
How'd one of those be at the Radford Racing School, Dan? And
it'd be good on the drag strip.
Yeah.
It'd be super good on the drag strip.
Yeah.
autocross, not so much.
Yeah.
It seems like it's so purpose-built, which I guess you could argue about a lot of cars available these days, but just it seems like the number of people that could actually use it are so few.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of performance-y things, the new F-150 Lobo has been announced. Doesn't have 1,250 horsepower, but has 400.
Not bad.
Do we like, because this is kind of your zone, Lindsay.
It
Do we
should
like
be.
these?
I know. I'm going to plead I was in France and I know nothing about this.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Did Jim not tell you as you were drinking cocktails?
We were too busy eating ice cream and watching very fast cars.
I love just the image of you sitting next to Jim Farley eating ice cream. It's like an Adam Sandler production,
Right? I love that image as well.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I could do it again this week.
Right. But no real thoughts on this. So it's what was the other one that came? Was it the Maverick Lobo?
They did do, yeah.
Yeah.
And, but this is supposed to be like a historical successor to the Lightning.
Yes, that's. Well, you're going to have to go drive one and tell us what you.
Yeah, Lindsay, do some research and let us know what you think.
Do we like the disc wheels?
I saw a second-gen Lightning on the road the other day, which is always
Is
surprising.
that the flare side?
Yes.
Yeah,
the,
okay.
like step side.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, single cab, just like the first gen.
And red.
In red.
Were they all red? No, some were yellow, right?
I don't know. I know a lot of them were red.
Yeah.
First gen, it was red and black. Yeah. And I think they made black ones second gen too, I think. But yeah, you don't see, especially that generation, you don't see very many of them. So definitely turned my head when I saw it the other day.
Well, you need to go investigate the new Lobo and get back to us.
All right.
I think Ford needs to, now that you're buddies with Jim,
Right.
your press car.
I have my assignment.
I have another show here. Friend of the show, Travis Pastrana.
What now?
So Travis was involved with a Corvette and a jump. So Travis has got this place called Pastrana Land, and it's basically an adult playground for cars, bikes, Can-Ams, the whole lot. And he posted a video last week of Jim Duffy, who is a member of the Nitro Circus, which is Travis's kind of group. And he jumped a Corvette C8 and managed to land it. And Jim is no stranger to jumping vehicles because he has the world record for limo jumping.
Second mention of limos tonight, just saying.
There we go. Yeah, 3 for the win, right?
Right.
But if you haven't seen it, the interesting thing for me is he only just makes it. And he doesn't only just make it because he lost confidence. The car actually stopped, and the car cut off just before he's about to take off.
Whoa. Why?
So did momentum launch him then?
Yes, yeah. And he was. They've looked at the telemetry and everything, and he didn't lift. So it was definitely a car feature. So they don't know why, but he made it. Is the good news, and he's safe and well, and everything else. But check out the video, and Travis does some analysis on the video, and he only
So what were they jumping it over?
Just it was just 2 sets of earth mound.
So
from one to the other.
why are they called limo jumps?
No, he's got the world record.
That's a separate thing. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
he's got the world record for the furthest you can jump a limo, and he did it.
I see. Okay. I thought he was jumping over the limos. I see.
So
I see.
what kind of limo did he jump?
We'll need to look it out. And sorry, it's Jim York. We'll need to look it up and come back to you. But it was interesting because I did some work with Duffy and York when they came to Dirtfish.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they actually went on a co-driver's course. So they actually competed in a round of the ARA. So the good guys, and I think by default, they're friends of the show.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, I have. If we need a third limo mention, I have a story from high
Here we go.
school.
Well, let's end on it because we're at 55 minutes.
End on that. So when I was a freshman in high school, the winter formal dance was coming up, and the group that I was going with, we were trying to figure out transportation, and limos were not cheap. And it turned out that one of my parents' neighbors owned a limo. He's done a lot of cars for movies and that kind of thing, so he has a very interesting collection. And one of them was a Lincoln Town Car limo from the 80s. And so we called and asked if we could rent it from him. And long story
Just
short,
the car, not the car and driver.
car.
Okay.
And he very generously loaned it to us, but my parents ended up being the limo drivers.
But did you make them wear the little hat?
No, they did that on their own, actually.
That's amazing.
Yes, black pants, white shirts, limo cap, and yes, we had this brown Lincoln Town Car limo from the 80s that was our chariot for the evening.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was that because they wanted to be chaperones?
As a parent myself, it's entirely possible. Didn't occur to me at the time.
No,
but
grateful.
The chauffeur, damn it.
nothing like taking your parents to your dance.
Dan, do you have any limo experience?
Not that I can share on this show.
That wasn't until senior year, though, right? Or whatever you call it in the UK. I only have one limo experience that I can remember, and that's when I was in college, and we were all very excited. A group of my friends decided we were going to New York. We were living in Chicago at the time. A couple friends, I think, of ours had graduated and were in New York. My sister was living in New York, and so we probably flew whatever the equivalent of Spirit Airlines, was at the time. But one of the girls in the group had a part-time job at a bank, and they had a Christmas party. She won a free limo ride. It was one of these things, right? And it already sounds a little suspicious. But,
not at all.
So we gather at this apartment when this thing rolls up, and I think it was like a funeral limo, right? Which is like a little different. It had 6 doors. It wasn't your typical. It was white. It had purple tint that was bubbling, and it had a bullet hole in the back window, and I'll never forget that. Somehow.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's like a wet blanket, on
Did it have the hearse swoop on it though?
I don't know about that.
So maybe this was the limo that followed the hearse.
Right. This is where the grieving family.
Right.
There wasn't a wooden box in the limo, was there?
No, I think that would have been a hearse. That may have been preferable.
Right. Don't mind the bullet hole or the wooden box. Please seat yourselves.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to get the free limo.
The ice bucket is full.
It's like when I was a kid and the first Karate Kid was in the movie theaters, and in the lobby, there was like the local dojo set up a stand where you could win free karate classes. And so, of course, I send up 2 days later, I get this thing in the mail. You've won free karate classes, not realizing everyone wins free karate classes. So, it's older and wiser, right? So
that's no, but you gotta have a little bit of the wonder. Like, I never win anything. This is amazing.
Dan McInnes wins things.
That's true, except for our friend Dan McInnes, who wins cars.
Anyway,
so we've got some options for titles for this show. So far, I've got a lot of visual rivets, Bronco barbecues.
Yeah.
Which sounds awful, right? Like you're grilling up a horse, right?
Yeah.
Or you've won free karate lessons.
And they do serve horse still in France.
Absolutely.
The French word for horse is cheval. So,
or Big Mac.
Royale with cheese. Royale cheval with cheese.
Wow. Yeah, you don't think about that. They do in Japan though too. So.
France is not the only country. I forgot. And I saw it on the menu at the restaurant.
Snails, horse.
All sorts of creatures. All creatures great and small on the menu.
Don't worry, we got our own problems, France.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Anything else before we call this a show?
I think we're good.
We've offended the French.
We've updated the YouTubes.
We've offended RWB owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all our shows to date are on YouTube, whether you like it or not. So
stop in and literally see us.
Yes. I think you have to search for That Car Show podcast, and that'll get you there. And last time I checked, we had all of 12 subscribers. So please do go and hit that subscribe bell, I think, as they say. And you'll be in good company because one Johnny Lieberman is one of those 12 who's following us.
That's right.
So he knows what he's doing, right? So
he recognizes the content when he sees it.
He recognizes content, huh?
Good content.
Good content. Okay.
Good content.
All right. On that note, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Dan. I can't wait to come back next week and see where else you've traveled or what else you've been up to, Dan. And on that note,
can you say it in French?
Oh, can you, Lindsey? Here, I'm going to look it up real quick.
I'll ask the researcher.
Hang on. Yeah, ask our research assistant.
Toujours on Oh, that's always a bit of the wheel. Weird. Always be in the act of driving.
Okay. And always be eating horse.
Right.
Yeah.
Always be in the act of driving while eating horse.
Toujours en train de conduire.
And on that note, we're that car show.
Toujours conduire would be that's my interpretation. And my new favorite wine is Janier.
Which means?
Find the hidden S. It's a white wine. It's a white wine that's very fruit forward, and so it tastes like it has more sugar than Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay, but it doesn't.
How much sugar does horse have?
Oué, mon ice cream, Jim.
Is this still the show? Have we?
We gotta get out of here.
All right. Well, this one's going to take some editing, but it was a fun show. Thank you both. And until next week, we're that car show. Always be driving.
Always be driving. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.